Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's your coach here, Coach's Call on Tap. Thank you for tuning in. This is a special episode we have. It's our NCAA college basketball breakdown. The guys are going to break down conference by conference, team by team, stuff like that. Things that you should look for, be watching for. I'm really excited about this. They put a lot of time and effort. So thank you for joining in. Make sure you click the like button. Hit that little bell for notifications. Make sure you go to coachescallontap.com. Also, you could find the link to the Discord there. You can join us in the Discord, catch some real-time bets and stuff. But let's take it away. The guys are excited. I'm excited to watch this. Thank you for joining in. Guys, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the long-awaited college basketball preview. Kyle is with me from PA. Kyle, how we feeling?
We are feeling great, excited for some college basketball season. Can't wait for it to be Monday already.
Oh yeah, Monday can't come faster. So college basketball in the Discord is probably the most popular chat that we have. We everybody bets it. It's a good time in there. Big mixture of fans, and you turn to love teams, tend to hate teams. It happens quick, and you'll find that quickly in there. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We're hopping right into the A10. A10. So Loyola Chicago last year, they did not look too good. George Mason looked good. But here's the thing, George Mason, their whole team is gone this year. Their whole team transferred to Providence pretty much. Kyle, who you got winning this conference and who you have as a sleeper team?
Who I got winning this conference? It's the favorite that normally is to win it every year. It's Virginia Comet World, VCU. They're very, very, very good team. Very good basketball team. They didn't lose a lot coming the off season. They did lose someone in the transfer portal. They didn't bring anybody in, but they just got that experience. They just got that experience. And normally in the conferences that aren't in the Power Six, experience really is a big factor in who wins those conferences.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. The only thing that scares me is when Mike Rhodes. Mike Rhodes going to Penn State, but they're always the favorite. Defense is key down there. For me, my team that I think that's gonna win it is Davidson. I watched them in oh no, not Davidson, Dayton. I always get mixed up. My team is Dayton. I love this Dayton team. I watched their scrimmage with Ohio State. They were hanging with them, and they should have beat them. They just looked like a very well-rounded, all-around team. They could shoot, drive, pass, everything. They're a good team. I'm excited to watch them this year. My sleeper team is probably Richmond, if I had to pick one out of there. Um, so let's go hop right into your conference, your homeland,
Oh
your
yeah.
Dukies. What do you think of the ACC this year? You got any sleeper team? What do you expect?
I mean, a sleeper team to look out for this year in the conference, probably Virginia Tech. Cannot sleep on the Virginia Tech Hokies. They normally have a pretty decent team. They did win the ACC. I mean, they won the ACC 2 years ago. So they won the ACC 2 years ago. It's a team that did bring in a few transfers out of the transfer portal. They do have the experience. It's just, are those transfers going to be able to gel together? That's the sleeper team, and the favorite to win the conference. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we're the best team in the conference. It's not even close. My Duke Blue Devils. We have so much talent on this roster. You got all the veterans coming back, mixed with all the five-star freshmen coming in. This is going to be an exciting year for the Duke Blue Devils, and I cannot wait for the season to start for them.
Yeah, for me, I'm all over the place with this conference this year. I don't know what to expect uh, with the coaching changes, with everything that's happened. The transfer portal messes everything up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for me, my sleeper team is Pitt this year. I think Pitt is going to be they're always a well-coached team, but they normally don't have the talent. This is one of them years where Pitt has the talent. They have the size, the shooting. They have just about everything. A team that I think is overrated this year is Miami. Without Isaiah Wong, that team is nothing. I
I
love
agree
Nigel
with you.
Pack. I love Nigel Pack. I watched Nigel Pack play all through when he played for K State and was carrying K State. But this is the ACC. You aren't going to be able to do that. So I think Miami lost too much to be a contender in the ACC. For me, I'm with you. I think Duke is probably one of the best Duke teams they've had in a long time. A lot of returners. Jarrett McCain coming in. Love Jarrett McCain. He's a beast. Can't wait to watch him play. Yeah, I think it's gonna come down between them and UNC. With Bacon coming back. They
Little
got a few
Bacon.
transfers that come in. RJ Davis still there. I love that team this year. I think that's gonna be a good matchup, and that rivalry is gonna be the whole ACC this year.
Yeah, no, a quick note on North Carolina. They did bring in a big name transfer that maybe not a lot of people really heard his name last year because he was playing for Stanford, but Harrison Ingram transferring into North Carolina, he's the type of small forward that could be the X factor that they're missing. He's a guy that could go out and average 20 points a game every single night, and I felt like that's really what they were missing from that team is just the guy that can go out there and score. So I
Yeah,
definitely think North Carolina, they are a threat this year. I don't think they're ranked 19th to start the season. I think that is a very fair ranking, given off of what happened last year. You just they're kind of a question mark team because you don't know how they're going to gel after all the issues that happened last year with Caleb Love and RJ Davis and all that behind the scenes stuff. But North Carolina, definitely a team to watch out for. And then a question for you with Miami. Matthew Cleveland transferred in from Florida State. Do you think he could help Miami out?
I think you can help them out, but I just think that they lost too much. They don't have the size. They don't have the that point guard to kind of
Mhm.
carry them.
Yeah.
The way that Long used to control the game. You aren't gonna see that much. Nigel Pack, don't get me wrong. Nigel Pack's gonna do his thing. He's gonna get his. Wooga Poplar, he's gonna get his. But the problem is when you go up against a team with size and a good defensive guard like Duke, where you're gonna be switching off. You're gonna have from Roach to McCain to so forth, so on. Flipkowski, you're gonna go from all that. Um, it's just gonna. I see them struggling a lot with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I definitely think 13 is a little too high. I think that's more based off of what they did at the end of last season
Last year,
compared to
yep.
what they could potentially happen this season.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So moving on, this is the conference that I got my eye on the most this season. Um, Not just because I'm a Texas sports fan, Texas everything, but I love the Big 12 basketball this year. I think this conference is going to be have so much talent between Kansas, Houston, Texas, West Virginia, Baylor, K State, TCU. You can keep going. The whole conference is talented. It's like when they made the switch for these conferences with all these teams that came in, it's like they took the basketball schools and said, "Here you go, Big 12, throw them in there." What are you thinking about the Big 12 this year?
The Big 12 is easily and always going to be the most fun conference to sit back and watch. Those 9 o'clock games on Monday nights when the Big 12 hits, they're always fantastic. Doesn't matter who's playing. The Big 12 is going to be very, very fun this year. And it's hard to pick who you think is going to win the conference in the Big 12 because you have this Kansas team that might be, you could argue, one of the most talented teams in college basketball this year. Could easily argue that Dickinson, my bad, Hunter Dickinson coming in from Michigan, the number one transfer out of the transfer portal. Yeah, they did lose their backup center, but I mean, I don't think it's going to matter because you got KJ Adams there as well to back up Hunter Dickinson. Dickinson. So Kansas probably the favorite to win it, but who I'm picking to win the Big 12, give me the first year guys, the Houston Cougars.
I
I
like
really
that.
like this Houston team.
Yeah. So for me, Texas is not. I don't think Texas is going to be that good this year. Uh, Max
Mhm.
Abman is coming in. He's a monster. Loved watching that Oral Roberts, but when you hop into Big 12 play and playing these teams that are just so talented night in night out, that's going to wear on you.
It's
I'm
physical.
excited to see.
Very, very, very physical.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he does. One thing last year that gave us a lot of success in the Discord was betting these Big 12 overs because it seemed like there is just no defense within this conference, which this year hopefully I hope it changes. But Big 12 overs used to cash. For me, there's this team this year in the Big 12. Last year they were good. They lost a lot, but they hit the transfer portal pretty heavy this year. and I love this K-State team this year. I think that they are arguably one of the most talented teams in the Big 12. Arthur Kaluma coming in from Creighton. He was a solid forward for them last year in their run. Loved watching him. Will McNair coming in from Providence. He was a beast. Loved watching him. Quez Glover. A lot of people don't know who Quez Glover is, but I guarantee you by the end of the season you will. Quez Glover went to Samford, not Stanford, Samford. And he was probably one of the most fun and athletic players to watch last year. So I'm big on this K-State team this year. West Virginia is another team this year that I think is going to be good. The only thing that I question with them is with Huggins and what happened with him. They're going to struggle a lot. But
Yeah.
that they got that big pickup with Noah Farrakhan. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but he originally was a 5-star recruit. It was him and Amani Bates. Uh, Amani Bates plays for the Cavs now, but those two were the guys that ran high school basketball back like a few years ago. And I'm excited to see Noah Farrakhan get his shot here. Um, Slinsky coming in for West Virginia too. He's a beast. Love. Think West Virginia's a good team. I don't. It's hard for me to say that I don't think Kansas is going to be good because I know they're going to be good. They're going to be. They have so much talent, and I don't want to be a front runner and say Kansas is going to win the Big 12. So for that, I think it's going to be K State. I think K State's the most talented team. I know that's crazy. That's a hot take.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean that's my sleeper pick is Kansas State. I had two sleeper picks, two purple teams, Kansas State and TCU. Those
TCU.
are my sleeper teams, man, in the Big
Yeah,
12. Kansas State, obviously, they're not even ranked to start the season, which is kind of mind-blowing. I get there is a lot of other good teams out there, but you see Illinois being ranked. I feel like Kansas State deserves to be ranked ahead of Illinois, in my opinion.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
that
agree.
TCU, they hit the transfer portal. Yeah, they lost Eddie Lampkin. Boo-hoo, big whoop. They made a run in the tournament without him, even when he wasn't playing. TCU brought in a lot of transfers, brought in a really good guard, brought in a really good shooter. The Horned Frogs are definitely a team to look out for. And the note on West Virginia, they also brought in the transfer portal the 7-footer Jesse Edwards from Syracuse. So they also have him as West Virginia as well. They brought in Kirk Kriza from Arizona as well.
Yeah, I saw it. They're
Yep, they
gonna be
got Kirk
solid.
Kriza. They have a solid team. The question is going to be the coaching. Can they get it together? But their big loss was losing Trey Mitchell. Him transferring to Kentucky, he was a big part of that team last year. So it's just going to be interesting to see if these new guys at West Virginia can come in and take a guy's spot like Trey Mitchell, who was such a big factor in their success last season at West Virginia.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, Going back to that, I yeah, I don't really see much of anything else in the conference though. Like you got it's kind of normally the Big 12, there's no drop off. Any team could
Mm-hmm.
beat any team. But
Mm-hmm.
this is a year where I think that there's such a big talent drop. Like UCF, I don't think they're gonna be any good. Oklahoma, they're trash.
Yeah.
BYU might be decent. They're always one of those teams that can be
Mm-hmm.
sneaky. Iowa State, I don't see anything out of them, and then Texas Tech, I don't see much. I think Baylor's they're on a slope downhill ever since they won a national championship.
I feel like Baylor, not a sleeper team. I feel like they're like that middle of the pack team. I feel like Baylor is this year.
They're just
They
there for
have a
fun.
good roster. They have a good roster with a great coach. And I feel like that could either go two ways. That could either go they're going to start off slow and they're going to get better and better and better as the season goes along, or they're just going to ride that middle of the pack team and maybe be like an 8-9 seed in the tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep. All right, let's get on to the to probably what I would say the most bet on conference because these schools they don't have football teams, don't have anything. The
Mm-hmm.
Big East. Let's get into it. I'm gonna start this one off by saying Providence. I always disliked Providence. I don't know why. They cost me a lot of money before, but I disliked them. But this Providence team this year is probably one of the most talented teams I've seen for the Big East in a while. Uh, I look at their transfer portal and what they hit. Adoru coming in, Adoro, Justin Fernandez, Devontae Gaines, all transferring from George Washington. I'm gonna love seeing Adoro play at this level. Kid's a monster. Uh, So yeah, I think Providence is gonna win the Big East. My sleeper team for the Big East, though, I'd say is St. John's. I know they lost their scrimmage to Pace University, but it's just a scrimmage. You can't look too much into it. So I'm excited to see what Patino can do out there and see if he can turn it around. What about you?
My pick to win the Big East this year, it's the team that's ranked fifth in the country. It's Marquette. Marquette's bringing everybody back. Marquette is bringing literally everybody back. This is a team that I think is going to take that loss last year to Michigan State in the tournament, and they're going to feed off of that, and that is going to be their energy the entire year is going to be based off of the loss last year in the tournament, where they know they could have won that game. Marquette is so talented, so talented, and my sleeper team, the thing is, like, I don't know if you can call this a sleeper team because they're ranked number 22, but A, they're not getting talked about, and B, they had a really bad season last year. It's Villanova. Villanova bringing in Hakeem Hart from Maryland in the transfer portal, bringing in Lance Ware from Kentucky in the transfer portal, and just returning everybody from last year. You got Eric Dixon. You got Eric Dixon. Eric Dickerson played for the Rams. Shout out to him. But Eric Dixon coming in. He's the veteran. He's going to be the leader of this team. You got Archie Diacono, also a veteran, leading this team. As long as the transfers can come in and can fill kind of those holes that they were missing last year, because I felt like that team, yes, also on top of a first-year coach, I felt like they were just missing something, and I think they picked up those pieces that they were missing in the transfer portal.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not big on Creighton this year. I don't.
Neither am I.
I
I
think
think
I
I
don't
think
think
AD is an
Kalkbrenner is
overrated.
gonna be able to. He's not gonna be able to carry him because he's not gonna have that guard that they had in Nemhard last year. I think with
They
him
brought
leaving,
in Stephen Ashworth in the transfer portal from Utah State, but he's more and he's
he's a
not Ryan
shooter.
Nembhard. He's there,
Yeah,
yeah, he's there to shoot. He's
he
not going to
can't.
be able to facilitate.
Yep, I agree. And then losing Kaluma plays a big part,
Yep,
and he was their role player last year. He was the guy that did all the dirty work that set
fantastic defender
Kalkbrenner.
too.
Yeah.
Fantastic defender.
Yep. And then yeah, like I said, Providence. I think DePaul went crazy this year in transfer portal. I'm not gonna lie. They picked up Jaden Henley. Jaden Henley's a tank. But he can't be a one man team. So
Mhm.
I think DePaul might be a sleeper to get upset here or there. I'm not saying they're gonna win the conference, but I definitely think that they could pull off an
They could be
upset.
a top half team. You think?
Yeah, yeah, and then Georgetown, you can never count Georgetown out to
You're right.
upset a team randomly out of nowhere either. Jaden
Hmm.
Epps, they got him from Illinois, transferred
Yep.
in. I think that they're gonna be a decent team, not as bad as they were last year.
I think a team we should mention here, the defending national champions, the Yukon Huskies. I
Yeah,
think we need to mention them. I'm not. I think six is an overranking. I don't think six. I don't think they're going to be. They're not going back to back. They're absolutely not going back to back. They lost way too much to the NBA.
yeah,
Jordan Hawkins, an absolute stud. Wishing him the best in the NBA. They lost him. They lost him, so I don't believe that UConn is going to be anywhere close to a top 10 team this year. I think maybe top 25. Top 25 is definitely doable, but I don't see them being that top tier team in the Big East like they were last year.
I agree. So yeah, let's get on to the basketball conference itself. Known for its defense, known for its champions, known for the talent it produces, the Big Ten. First off, I'm gonna preface this by saying I said Penn State basketball is going to be the future, and they're going to turn that school into a basketball school with Mike Rhodes coming in, Ace Baldwin, Puff Johnson, Favor Iure. Let's keep going. DeMarco Dunn. We can keep naming them all. Kudus Wahab. I think Penn State basketball is going to be the sleeper team of this conference this year. Not saying they're going to win it all because there's too many transfers for them to just gel and start playing really good basketball, but they have the talent. They have the talent that's there. They have the defense. They have everything. They just need to gel it. It's gonna take a while though. Might not be this season. It might be next, but I'm definitely excited to see them play this year. Uh, Illinois, I love Illinois. I don't. Don't know if they'll be able to win it all though. I don't think they have the depth. They have a good starting five, but when you get out of there, they have a six man. That's it. Coleman Hawkins and Terrence Shannon Jr. aren't going to be able to carry this team. They didn't really get anything out of the transfer portal. They barely got anything. Ohio State, they're going to be horrible. Not horrible. That's harsh, right? What would you say?
I mean, they were pretty bad last year. So I mean, I didn't see much improvement in the transfer portal. So they're going to be the bottom. They're going to be a bottom team in the conference. They're not going to be good. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't like reading into these scrimmages they do before the
Mm-hmm.
season. Secret scrimmages, not really secret when you're playing them all on ESPN Plus. But
Yeah.
but Illinois did beat Kansas. That's something to say. But Ohio State, they looked horrible. They looked horrible against Dayton. They looked like a high school team. Michigan State, you never count Izzo out. I think they're
Michigan State, man. That is my pick to win the Big Ten this
Big
year.
Ten.
Michigan State, and I'm telling you right now, I got Michigan State going to the national championship this year. I
Ooh.
am high on this Michigan State team. You want to talk about veteran after veteran after veteran after veteran after veteran with the coaching of Tom Izzo. This is a national championship type team. You got Tyson Walker coming back, the leader of this team. He's a stud scorer. You got everybody. They had that team that made the run to the Elite Eight last year. Everybody is back, and they can easily do it again. They're ranked fourth in the country to start the season. This is going to be a really, really good Michigan State team. And if Tom Izzo was ever going to get a ring on his finger, a national championship ring on his finger, and get this Big Ten streak done, no national championship since 2001, it is this year because Michigan State is a darn good team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that they are very talented. Um, yeah, I'm with you. It's hard for me to disagree. I can't disagree. Normally, I
Mm-hmm.
like playing contrarian, but I can't. But then we move on to Northwestern. Boo Booey, can he carry them? I think Northwestern is going to be horrible this year. That's just my personal opinion. You got
Northwestern's
Boo,
they're a question mark team. They're a
yeah.
question mark team. You don't know what you're gonna get out of it's just like Northwestern's entire school, all right? You don't know what you're gonna get in football season. You don't know what you're gonna get out of. You might get 0-12, you might get 10-2. Basketball, it's the same story. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Northwestern. You might get the team from last year, top 25 team, or you might get a horrible team this year. Boo Booey is fantastic, but as you said, Boo Booey can't carry the team. And to touch on Illinois, as you were talking earlier, they did lose. They did lose Epps, who was that really, really good
And
point
Sky
guard for
Clark.
them
Can't
last
forget
year.
Sky Clark too.
They lost Sky Clark as well. And I think those losses, and what's crazy is last year, I think Illinois fooled us last year. The beginning of the season, they looked like one of the best teams in all college basketball, and they turned out not to be that good. And you mean to tell me that you lose two of your best players and you're going to be better this year? I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think Illinois is going to be the same exact team as last year. They might come out of the gates, but do not be fooled by Illinois. Illinois is a bunch of frauds.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. My problem with Illinois is their coach. I
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand what's his name? I forget what his name is. Shit. But I can't stand him. Any coach that comes out and talks shit about your own players, about how because he was talking about Terrence Shannon Jr. He's talking about how he's not a good leader. Like you can't do that. You can't throw your kids under the bus when you're a coach. You might be trying to motivate them, but that doesn't motivate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brad Underwood.
Yeah, I
Brad,
always call him Brett Underwood because I
yeah,
don't know
Brad
why.
Underwood.
But yeah, I can't stand a coach that likes throwing his players under the table.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get behind that. But I love Terrence Shannon Jr. I love watching him play. He's a beast.
And then
So
touching on, I think everybody wants to hear our opinions on the team that lost in round one last year
oh my
of the
god,
NCAA tournament, the Purdue Boilermakers. I'll let you go first.
the Power Rangers Zach Edey, huh? Hey, I must say, yes, they're gonna be good. yes, they're going to be solid, but I think the thing is with Purdue is it's the same team as last year. They showed how you can lose. You just gotta
Hmm.
play. You gotta run the court on them. Get Edie in foul trouble. Boom, you're good. Uh, but my thing is Purdue's gonna have to switch it up with their coaching. They're gonna have to switch up the way they play.
Hmm.
That's the only way I could see them doing anything this year. I think they're extremely overrated. If they play against anybody with a big man that can get Edie in foul trouble, such as this is a game where Penn State this year, when they go to Purdue, they might be able to beat them. Not gonna lie, but Fairleigh Dickinson and the other teams that they played showed a blueprint on how to beat them.
I definitely see that for sure. But if they do come up with that other game plan, the two young guards from last year, I think they could those guards, the potential, Fletcher Lawyer, a very, very great guard from Pennsylvania. Got to watch him play in high school. He's a fun guy to watch in high school. But Fletcher Lawyer, I think he could be a factor for that team. And I think the loss last year, you got all those kids coming back. Or another team, they got all those kids coming back. And yes, I think there is a blueprint to stop Zach Edey now, but I think that they're going to learn from that loss. And I think that those guards, I mean, they were young little freshmen last year. They're sophomores now. They got that experience. Purdue is a team. I know everyone's going to hate me for this saying, but they're a national championship contender. They're not ranked third to
Uh,
start the season for no reason. They're a national championship contender. Virginia lost in round one, came back the next year and won the national title. Who says Purdue can't do that too? Because Purdue probably has just as much talent as that as that Virginia team did.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. So now let's get to my pick to win the Big Ten. There is a lot of similarities to this team as the team from a few years ago when they had Jordan Davis. And that is the Wisconsin Badgers. My thing is, hear me out. My thing is, where they struggled at last year was scoring. Their defense was so damn good, but they couldn't score more than 60 points a game. You bring in AJ Store. AJ Store is a monster. He's a beast. Don't get me wrong, Champagny did open up a lot of the scoring for him last year. But I think that this Wisconsin team this year. Shout out to my boy Connor Season too. I met you at Penn State. You were a G. But I think this Wisconsin team has the depth, has the shooting and the defense to be able to make a run this year in the tournament and win the Big Ten.
Wisconsin's they definitely got to prove me. I don't see it with this Wisconsin team. I just don't see it at all. I don't think they can win the Big Ten. But Wisconsin, they can prove me wrong. They can absolutely prove me wrong for sure. I know that they got the talent, but it's just can it come together? And I think that's the big question mark. And that's why I'm not on Wisconsin this season.
I'm all in on Chucky Hepburn. I am. He showed me last year he got that dog in him. But this time he has AJ Store right by his side. So that's why I just like that they got the two big men, Wall, um what's the other guy?
I
Klesmith. They got
I do love Tyler Wall. Watching Tyler Wall it is fun to watch him play basketball. I will say that.
they
He's a
have, they
fun
have one
player to
more.
watch.
They had another guy too. Who was it? What was it? Steven Crowell. That's who it is. Steven Crowell will get like 12 rebounds a game. Now I can break down Iowa. I don't. Iowa's gonna be horrible this year. Let's just
I
get
think
to
Iowa is kind of like Northwestern. It's a question mark. You don't really know what you're gonna get out of Iowa.
yeah,
I do think that's a big question mark team. They lost some guys. They had some young guys that are now older, but they didn't bring anything to help them in the transfer portal. So I think Iowa's kind of like Northwestern. You could either see them be a top 25 team, pull off some upsets, or you could just see them be like in Ohio State and just be really bad.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Same thing with Michigan. Michigan's the same way. They lost a lot. Didn't really hit the transfer portal at all. They don't really
I'm
got any
really
talent.
interested to see. Caleb Love looks like in a Michigan jersey.
Oh, it's gonna be ugly.
Really interested to see what it looks like
It's
because
gonna be so ugly.
he is one confusing player. He looks good one night and bad another night, and it is just is he really just chucking up 30-foot jump shots for no darn reason? Or was it North Carolina giving him the ball at the end of every single shot clock for him to chuck it up? For him to chuck it up and have a 13% 3-point percentage because they're giving him the ball with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock. I
Yeah.
think you're really going to see who Caleb Love is this season. If
Oh
he
yeah.
if he's a fraud or if he is a good enough player, I think you're going to see that along with the Michigan record. Because I think if he can play good, he can pull this Michigan team to the big, not to the Big Ten tournament championship, not to the NCAA championship, but easily back to the NCAA tournament for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, then Indiana, rest in peace, Bob Knight. Other than that, I don't see much out of them this year. They
Yeah,
lost too
they
much. Didn't hit the portal. Xavier Johnson is gonna have to be their best player. Dude's the dirtiest player in college basketball, throwing elbows and punches. Can't get behind that. And then same thing with Minnesota. Not big on them. You have anything about Indiana, Minnesota, or
Indiana
Nebraska?
did bring in the 5-star recruit Mick. He decommitted from Duke because Kyle Filipowski came back. Man, I'm stuttering tonight. Oh, yeah, but he decommitted from Duke, committed to Indiana. I'm gonna butcher his first name, so I'm just gonna say his last name. He was ranked number 3 in the ESPN Top 100. Mc Mc McBacko.
McBacko.
McBacko. He
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I,
Back,
I believe. I
yeah.
want to say
MGBAKO. There we
yes,
go.
yes.
Yeah, but other
McBacko.
than that, I don't see anything that they got. Gabe Cupps. Gabe Cupps, he's a freshman. He was a big recruit they got. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking
It's
at
it's a young Indiana team. It's
Trey
a young
Galloway.
Indiana
He's a
team.
transferred in from Boston College. He's not
Mhm.
bad. But I don't see them gelling and being able to win in the Big
You
Ten.
know, it's a really young Indiana team. I think you're going to see some growing pains. I think this is a team that could be built for the future. I will say, as long as they keep bringing in these top recruits like Gabe Cupps, like
Yeah,
Baco, I think you could see it. I think you could see it really well.
yeah,
I think it's a bright future, but not this season.
yeah.
That's more laying it down.
Minnesota, we can just skip over them. I feel like they're horrible. They got nobody.
I don't know what to think of Minnesota. Rutgers, I mean, they might beat Purdue like they beat
Uh,
Purdue every single year.
I I think Rutgers actually might be decent. Okay, I'm not saying that they're gonna go off, win a lot and all that. I just think that they brought in a solid point guard that can carry a team, and that's
Mm,
that Noah Fernandez from UMass. Now I know he was tearing it up in what is that? What was that? The A10
yep,
UMass? Yeah,
yep.
yep. He was tearing it up in the A10 last year. I loved watching him play. Like dude would just carry his team. He'd be hitting threes left and right. Other than that, they don't have. They got the size. They got the big men. To compete in the Big Ten. Omiuri, Chol. They got some big boys on their team, but I just don't think that they'll have enough. If that makes sense. Then Nebraska, they're the same as
It's
Minnesota.
Nebraska. I feel bad for people in Nebraska. I mean, they got to deal with a horrible football team every single year and a horrible basketball team. There's no positive in Nebraska
Yeah,
sports at all.
they still got Tomi Naga though.
They do.
He won
They
them
do.
16 of their 16 wins last week. I mean last year.
They do. He is one bright side, I will admit, but
But
I mean,
that's
he might
it.
be the only bright side in the entire state of Nebraska. Let's be honest here.
All right, so moving on. We got the Missouri Valley Conference. Now, historically, the Missouri Valley has been ran by Drake, and I don't think it stops this year. I think that Drake is going to be solid. They got DeVries. They still got Darnell Brody, the big man. They added a few players from the transfer portal. I think that it's their conference to lose. I don't really see them having many problems. There's one team though that I do see them giving them a little bit of a fit, but nothing that they should be worried about. And that is Southern Illinois, the Salukis. It's their second year in Division One. Last year they showed that they could hang. There's multiple games where they pulled out that they shouldn't have, to be honest. But this year I think that they have a really good team. They're talented, and I think that they are going to show this year why they are a Division One program. Murray State, they're always up there. Missouri State, they're always up there. Bradley, Belmont. This conference is turning out to be a very talented conference, showing they can hang with these big schools. What do you think, Kyle?
I 100% agree with you. It's Drake's conference to lose. They're the best team in the conference or the most talented team in the conference. As long as no injuries hit, I mean, it's Drake. The Missouri Valleys is Drake's to lose. Sleeper team, definitely don't sleep on Belmont. Definitely, you said Southern Illinois. I think Belmont, very, very good team. I think they got an awakening last year from going from the Ohio Valley, I believe Ohio Valley Conference they were in before them. And they into the Missouri Valley. They got an awakening last year of what it's like to be in a better conference. And I think they're a very talented team. So I think Belmont, definitely don't sleep on them. There's a team to shock Belmont in the Missouri Valley title game. I mean, shock Drake in the Missouri Valley title game. It is Belmont.
Yeah, the white boys that don't miss. Welcome to
Mm-hmm.
Belmont. All right, so that was a quick one. Now let's move on to the Mountain West. Now, Boise State historically. Wait, we'll come back to Boise State. Let's start
Mm-hmm.
off with the team that deserves to be talked about first: San Diego State Aztecs. Uh, I think this year they'll pick up where they left off, and they will show everybody why they went where they did last year. With that said, do not sleep on the Boise State Broncos this year. Remember, they played them in that championship game last year for the conference, and they were winning with about 5 minutes left in that game. If they could make a free throw, Boise State would have went to the tournament. Um, what do you think, Kyle?
I 100% agree with everything that you just said there. San Diego State, I feel like this is their conference to lose. They did lose two of their guys. Matt Bradley, obviously not there anymore, graduated. He's gone out of there. Lost their center as well. Graduated. He's gone. They're out of there. They bring back the man that sent them to the national championship game, though, with that game winning shot. So I think it's San Diego State's conference to lose, and I 100% agree with your sleeper team. Boise State is right behind them. I think though the Mountain West is a conference this year where all the other teams that were in the Mountain West, all their stars are gone. They all hit the transfer portal. They all hit the road. They're all at Power Five schools now. So I really think the Mountain West Conference. I don't see this being a good conference this year at all. I think it's literally Boise State and San Diego State, and that's it. Because those are the only two teams that really got to keep their team together for the most part.
Yeah, picking up off that, I kind of agree with you. Utah State, they're gonna be low this year. I don't really see much out of them.
Hmm.
Nevada, they always have had a basketball program, but it's just so hard for me to believe in them because with this transfer portal, one thing I did notice is that it killed a lot of these programs that had good players
Hmm.
for them. But when I look at this Nevada team, I check their roster, and one thing that I do see is that they still have Jarrett Lucas, still got Blackshear. I think he might have transferred in from Virginia Tech. I'm not sure though, or
He
he
did.
played there last year. He did.
He did.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that they are going to be a very solid program. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run. I think they'll be top three. I think it's going to be Boise State, San Diego State, and then Nevada. Um, I'm sold on this Boise State program, and I think that they will win this conference this year because
I
they're gonna
100% agree. I 100% agree with that. I think Boise State's going to win the conference this year as well.
have that built in deep down from last year. They're gonna be all pissed off, and they're gonna want to to show everybody that they shouldn't have lost to them last year. So we move on. You got anything else to add about that, or?
Not really much more to add on the Mountain West. I feel like there's a player that was playing for Wyoming last year that transferred out of there that we will get to in a bit later. So Mountain West, I think that is about it.
Yeah. Then we move on to Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie James, USC. USC's conference to win, USC's conference to lose. Well, you know someone who is not sold on USC? That is this guy right here. I do not think that they will be anything close to what people believe they will be. I think Bronny's going to get all the hype, and it's going to be similar to this Colorado football situation where everybody bets Colorado every weekend and they lose because of Bronny. Not saying that Bronny's a bad player, not hating or anything, but I just don't think as a team they're going to be very talented. Kyle, what's your thoughts for the Pac-12 this year?
My thoughts on the Pac-12 this year. It's a conference where I don't really see a lot of talented teams in it. I see a few teams that I think have a good chance at being really good. And then I think there's a drop off after that, really after that fourth team. And those teams that I see, number 12, Arizona, number 21, USC, UCLA, and Colorado.
Yeah, I agree with you with the Colorado. Their team this year is kind of they're solid. Of course, Arizona, they're always gonna be in the mix. USC and UCLA, I'm not sold on UCLA. There's
I
one,
am not sold on UCLA either.
no,
UCLA lost everything.
yeah, they're
I
just
think this
built.
program, I think UCLA, I think they have the potential to be in that top five team in the Pac-12, yes. But I do think that it's going to be a rebuild year for the UCLA Bruins. I don't think they're going to be very good this year.
I agree. I know my pick is off the wall for the Pac-12 this year, and the team I have winning the Pac-12 is Washington State. I I just think that they have a lot of talent this year, and I think that they built up a basketball program that is going to be, I want to say top tier, but it's going to be something that the Pac-12 doesn't see that much. It's gonna be a team that comes out of nowhere and they just start winning games. It's weird. It's really weird. They're my sleeper team this year. But for me, if I had to pick a team to win the Pac-12, I'd say Arizona is gonna win the Pac-12. I know it's square as hell, but I don't see any of these teams really stick out to me, except Washington State and Colorado.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's square to pick Arizona, but it's number one, it's the safe bet. Number two, I mean, they are easily the most talented team, easily the most talented team in the Pac-12. It's not even close.
Yeah,
The USC situation, it's when is Bronny gonna play? I mean, you don't know. You have no idea when Bronny's gonna play because of the heart issue that he had in the offseason. So USC, even with Bronny James, I'm not sold on USC either. USC plays Kansas State opening night. Kansas State's going to win that game. I'm telling you right now.
oh,
10
they're
p.m.
gonna win by
football.
like double
Kansas State.
digits.
Yeah, Kansas State going to win that game. First upset of the college basketball season right there. Ranking wise, technically, first upset of the college basketball season. Calling it right now, it's going to be Kansas State over USC. But a sleeper team that I would like to talk about is the neighbor of Washington State, the Washington Huskies. The
Mm.
Washington Huskies, a team I didn't list them as a top five as one of those top five teams, but I do think that this is a team that is overlooked. They brought in Xavier Wheeler out of the transfer portal. They brought in two more transfers as well. They brought in a four-star guard out of high school. I think this roster is built to potentially be a winning team, but I feel like the issue is Washington just not very well coached. I'm not a big fan of the coach at Washington. I Felt like even when he had good players like Markel Fultz on the team, they weren't good. Like they just
Yeah,
weren't good.
yeah,
I think the coaching is the big issue with the Washington Huskies.
yeah. Going back to Washington State, they last year they had the size, but they didn't have the point guard.
Hmm.
But this year they got Joseph Yusufu. He transferred in from Kansas. Um, Started off his career at Drake. Watched him play up through Drake. Watched him throughout his whole career. And I must say that I am very excited to watch this team play. Now I say that and watch them lose every game by like 30, but but they're my sleeper team, and I really do like this Colorado team. I think there's a lot of value in them this year in many games where they're going to be underdogs that you'd be able to bet them at a pretty decent number. Um, they still have, yeah, KJ Simpson's still there. Um, that kid was a monster. Tristan Da Silva, those two are probably the best. I want to say one of the best big man little man combos that I've seen out last year. I'm excited to see Colorado play this year too. Everybody else there really is nothing.
I don't see anything
Yeah,
anybody.
look at Cal, 3-29 last year. Um, what the hell happened? Like Devin
I
asked,
will say though, Cal as a team, they went 3-29 last year. They're going for the 1 year rebuild this year, man. They brought in so many
yeah,
transfers this offseason.
that's what I'm looking at now. Like
Mhm.
Devin Askew, it's his last year. He's been
Yep,
all over the world, like
yes,
playing
he
ball.
has.
But he's back home. He was there last year. Um, I think Cal, they aren't going to be. I don't think they're going to go 3-29 this year. I think they'll probably win about 15, 16 games. But
I think 16-16 would be a fair record for Cal.
yeah,
I think
yep.
that'd be fair.
And then Stanford, I think they're in the same boat. Last year they went 14-19. Um, I just don't see them having any type of. I just think that I think they might be the Cal this year of last year. I don't think
Yeah,
that they'll
no, I
be.
think that could easily be. I think that could easily happen. I could easily see Stanford winning 3 games, especially the loss of Harrison Ingram, their star
Yeah,
player.
he was their whole
That helped
team.
them. That helped them win 14 games.
Yeah,
Also, another note, real quick, back to Arizona. Caleb Love is on the Arizona Wildcats. He is not on the Michigan Wolverines. I made that mistake earlier. That's my bad. I forgot Caleb Love had originally transferred to Michigan, but he ended up. I don't know what happened. There was an issue or something. There was an issue with like the transfer request or something. So he couldn't go to Michigan. So he ended up going to Arizona. So I mean, I said my thing about Caleb Love earlier. I think you're going to see what kind of player he is this year. But I also think if he is that kind of player that everybody thinks he is, an all-star, he could lead this Arizona team to the promised land, to where they have not been in a very, very long time, potentially in that Final Four, Elite Eight, Elite Eight Final Four type team.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Anything else for the Pac-12 you want to add?
Mhm.
No.
Sure.
All right. So let's move on to the SEC. Uh, Arguably one of the most talented conferences this year. I think that there's a lot of teams in the SEC that aren't ranked that arguably could be ranked.
Mm-hmm.
You say that about the Big Ten too.
Yep.
Like, but I can't get a read on this conference looking at the teams and their rosters and their talent. I think Alabama shouldn't be ranked this year.
I agree.
I do not think that they are going to live up to what they were last year. I just don't think they have the talent where anything close to what they had. With JQ transferring, where'd he go? Queenerly. He transferred to
Memphis.
yeah.
Memphis.
With him transferring to Memphis, the killer guy,
He's
Brandon
in the
Miller.
NBA. Brandon
Yeah,
Miller, he's in
with
the
Brandon
NBA.
Miller going to the NBA, I think that Alabama is just gonna be down this year. I don't think that they'll be close. The team that I have winning it's square as hell. Everybody's on them this year in the Discord. I think it might be our squad ride this year for the Discord. We're all riding Arkansas. we all think Arkansas is the most talented team all around in college basketball this year. I'd agree. Um, Khalif Battle, Jeremiah Davenport, L. Ellis, Keon Menafield, keep on going. Trayvon Brazil, Jalen
Mhm,
Graham. Like,
mhm.
this team all together is just,
The list just keeps going
yeah, like
on
their
and
talent,
on and on and
the
on.
depth, and what they have going on down there in Arkansas is something different. And I genuinely believe that they're the best team in college basketball. Um, I think they win the SEC. Now, granted, it's hard to say that when there's so much talent in the SEC, though. Um, A&M's up there. My sleeper team, though, this year, they're a team that's in it every year. They had a lot of hype 2 years ago, but they were known as the team that just choked. And that is the Auburn Tigers. I think that the coach down there what's his name? He's crazy. Bruce Pearl.
Mhm.
I think Bruce Pearl got a basketball culture down there that is going to be stuck with them as long as he is there. The talent there, KD Johnson's back. Um, Johnny Broom, their big man, picked up a few other guys. Chris Moore, Jalen Williams coming in. Um, they are going to be a very talented team this year. That's going to be a sleeper team that I could see making a run come tournament time. What do you got?
Yeah, no, to tail off of Arkansas, that's my national championship pick. Arkansas had it's scary to say, but Arkansas has 13 starters on their team. It's terrifying to say, but all 13 players that are going to play this year could start at any other Power Five team in all of college basketball. This is a horrifying team. You do not want to face this team. My Blue Devils face Arkansas in Arkansas. It's a very, very worrisome game right there. I'll tell you that. I'm looking forward to watching that game. It's going to be fun to watch, but not looking forward to potentially the result of that game. I will say that in the first year of the ACC SEC challenge, switching it up this year. But yeah, Arkansas, and you heard me say earlier, Michigan State national championship, Arkansas national champion. There you go. That's my national championship right there. Arkansas versus Michigan State. It's it's the transfer portal team versus the team that is being brought back with all the veterans, fifth year seniors in Michigan State versus 13 starters in the Arkansas Razorbacks. That is my national championship pick. My sleeper team in this conference, I could get a lot of hate for this, but do not sleep on the Ole Miss Rebels. This team,
God, beat your wife. Yeah.
what Chris Beard did is horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's unexplainable. It's bad. Chris Beard, he's lucky that he is coaching at another program. If I was an AD, I wouldn't be hiring him with all the allegations going on. But you cannot deny the fact that Chris Beard is an amazing basketball coach. He is one of the best coaches in all college basketball. He brought in a lot of transfers this year. This Ole Miss team, they're not going to win the conference this year, but they're going to make some noise. They're probably going to upset teams like Alabama, like the frauds of Tennessee. Bubba, do not look for Tennessee to cheer you up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it, Bubba. They are not doing it. The Vols, not the ninth ranked team in the country, lost way too much in the transfer portal, didn't bring much in. Get them out of the top 25. All I got to say about Tennessee right there.
I
But yeah,
agree.
Ole Miss, definitely look out for them. And then I think obviously you got to talk about the blue blood, the Kentucky Wildcats.
I was just about to bring them up.
Kentucky Wildcats. I think 16 is a very fair ranking, and it's because they are the Duke from last year. They are a bunch of freshmen, 5 stars coming out of high school. They're the high school all-star team coming into college basketball. I think they are the Duke Blue Devils of last year, and I think you're going to expect the same exact thing that you got from Duke last year. I think you're going to see anywhere from a 15th rank to like a 40th ranked Kentucky team. I think you're going to see them in the rankings at some point. I think you're going to see them lose some games that maybe they're supposed to win. I think you're going to see them maybe upset a few teams that they aren't supposed to be. But Kentucky is, they're gonna be fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. Justin Edwards, I mean, watching that freak of a man play in high school. I mean, he's jumping from the near foul line, dunking the ball in some kid in a state title game. I mean, that kid's unreal. And Rob Dillingham by his side now. It's a scary, scary team at Kentucky, but definitely it's a team where I don't see a national championship getting raised at Kentucky this year.
Yeah, piggybacking off that Ole Miss
Mhm.
take. I'm looking at their lineup this year.
It's
Got
good.
Brandon Murray,
It's good.
Alan Flanagan from Auburn,
Hmm.
Jalen Murray from St. Peter's coming in,
Hmm.
CCA coming in. Oh my God.
Hmm.
Ole Miss might fuck around. They're gonna be ranked by the end of the
Telling
season.
you,
Not even gonna lie. Uh,
telling you, do not sleep on them. And you know, Chris Beard can coach them kids up.
yeah,
He
I'm.
can.
All right, we're gonna keep moving here. All right, so let's hit the West Coast Conference real quick, and let's touch base here with the Zags. Are the Zags toast or are they not? My thing is they got one of the most electric. Yeah, I think Gonzaga's back this year. I ain't even gonna lie. I think this Gonzaga team is gonna be 1,000 times better than last year with Nemhard, and then that combination between him and Graham Ike, the Wyoming. I don't think he played last year for Wyoming. But I remember him playing about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Him and Graham Ike. I think those two together are arguably. I know I said it earlier about De Silva and the other guy for Colorado being the best big man little man
Yep.
combo.
Yep.
I'm excited to see these two play ball together. And then I look at San Francisco this year too. I think that they are going to be in big trouble without Shabazz Muhammad. I think he's like very similar to Damian Lillard with the way he plays. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm gonna miss watching him play. St. Mary's, they're young. They have the possibility to do it all again. Wouldn't be surprised if they do. What do you think?
It is Gonzaga and St. Mary's at the top of this conference now that BYU is gone. Gonzaga, I mean, they're going to get battle tested. They are going to get battle tested. They're playing number 3 Purdue. They're playing USC. They're playing UConn. You're going to know right away. They're playing San Diego State this season. You're going to know right away if this Gonzaga team is back or not. Can't forget they also playing Kentucky later in the season as well. Going to be another fun match to watch. But I mean, the post Drew Timmy era, man. Drew Timmy was the love, the pride, the joy of that Gonzaga team and of that Gonzaga University. That man, you can't even hate that guy. Like he's impossible to hate. He is one of the most lovable human beings I think anybody could ever meet. But the post Drew Timmy era, I think maybe you see a bit of a slow start for Gonzaga because the last 4 or 5 years it has been all about Drew Timmy. I think someone's gonna have to find. He's gonna have to find. Gonzaga's gonna need to find a guy that's not. They can't rely on. There's no Drew Timmy anymore to rely on. Is basically what I'm trying to say. They need to come together and they need to play as a team every single night because when you notice these games in the past few years, Gonzaga wasn't playing at their best. Drew Timmy would still carry them to a win. They don't have that anymore. But bringing in Nemhard and the man you already mentioned him, I wanted to talk about him. Transfer from Wyoming, Graham. I mean, he's a beast. He is
Yeah,
an absolute beast. But if I had to pick between Gonzaga and St. Mary's to win the conference, I'm going with Gonzaga. Like you said, I think they're back. I think they're going to be a really good team. I don't see national championship team though. I will say that Aiden Mahaney though at St. Mary's, that kid can play, and he's
yeah,
now going to be the leader of that team down at St. Mary's. So, and they did bring back Dukas as well, shooter that they much need beside Aiden Mahaney. They brought back Dukas as well. And you can't forget about the big man in the middle, Mitchell Saxon. He is a great big man to have as well. And when him and EK go at it, man, it is going to be very, very, very fun to watch.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, for me, I got Gonzaga running away with the conference this year.
Mhm. I agree.
But
I wish Gonzaga was going to the Big 12. I wish.
yeah, I would love to see
Man,
that.
that would Kansas, Houston, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Man,
So
wish.
Cinderella team this year. We got a few minutes left here. Uh, my Cinderella team this year, I'd say, is I'm gonna be Homer with it. I know I sound like I am, but I think Penn State has the size, the depth to be able to make a run, and if they get gelling at the right time, I think that they're my Cinderella team this year. Who's your Cinderella team? Real quick, who's your Cinderella team?
Cinderella team. It is a team that I already mentioned. It's a team you mentioned about 5-10 minutes ago. It's a roster you just looked up. It's Ole Miss. It's those Rebels, man. There's something about that team that I really, really like, and I think they really have a special team on their hands.
You
I
think?
really do.
And then real quick, FAU team is back, whole team. Do they make it back or no? I don't think they. I don't think they
I
do.
don't think they're making it back to the Final Four. I don't. I will say. But this team, I mean, they're going to be up there. They're going to
They're
be
gonna win their
ranked the entire
conference for
season.
sure.
Absolutely. They're going to win their conference. They're going to be ranked the entire season. They're not going to make a deep run in the tournament, but I could definitely see them returning to like the Sweet 16. I
Gotcha.
definitely see that. It's a very good, very talented team. They're bringing everybody back.
Yeah.
Another team that's bringing everybody back. That's a big theme this year in college basketball is a lot of guys they didn't go to the NBA this year. They really didn't. A lot of guys came back, and that is a very big theme, and I think that's really going to play a big factor in who's winning the national title this year and who's going to be those teams that go far and take the next step.
Yeah. And then real quick, national championship. Who'd you got?
I said Arkansas versus Michigan State, and I got the Arkansas Razorbacks winning the national title.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for me, I got Arkansas making it. Like I said, their depth, their size, everything. I got Arkansas and Kansas State in the championship. I think Kansas State is, like I said earlier, I think that they're a great all around team, and I cannot wait to see them play this year. Anything else?
I mean, who's ready for some college basketball
Yeah,
Monday,
let's
man?
do it. Let's
Who's
get
ready for some
into it.
college
Um,
basketball? Cheer on Duke. Always cheer on Duke. All right. In North Carolina, always cheer on the private school.
um, yeah, so we'll be back. We'll do a show. Make sure you guys check out the Discord, the YouTube, hit that subscribe and like button. Join the Discord. It's always a good time in there. Great people in there. Yeah, make sure you check that out and have a good night. God bless. From Puff and PA and from Kyle and PA. Have a good night. Oh snap.